Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Dr. Yasmin Ahmad, and today's our topic would be about the special senses. And previously, you have studied about the sense of sight, in which you have studied about the structure and the function of eye and the different pathways. Now we will study about the sense of smell, and in this you will see that the sense of smell basically originates in the nasal cavity, and that act as a passageway for the respiration as well. And the sense of smell is also known as the olfaction, and we will see this olfaction is carried by the olfactory nerve, the first cranial nerve. So we'll see the structure of the nose, in which we can see that the sense of smell is being perceived. You can appreciate this is the front on the left side. This is the nasal passage, and the nose, interior structure of the nose, in which in the upper part you can see the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone and the olfactory bulb. And from olfactory bulb there is the olfactory tract that passes to the cerebral cortex, and beneath the olfactory bulb these are the fibers of olfactory nerves. And as I've just told you that the olfactory nerve is the first cranial nerve. So the sensory nerve ending, these sensory nerve of smell basically originate as the specialized olfactory nerve ending known as the chemoreceptors in the mucous membrane of the roof of the nasal cavity above the superior nasal conchae. And on the each side of nasal septum, nerve fiber passes through the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone to the olfactory bulb. And in the olfactory bulb there is interconnections and the synapses occur. And from that bulb a bundle of nerve fibers form the olfactory tract, and that olfactory tract which passes backward to the olfactory area in the temporal lobe of the cerebral cortex in each hemisphere, where the impulses are interpreted and the odor is basically perceived, or the smell is basically perceived. We can again see in the next picture, this is the olfactory nerve, and these are the nerve fibers. And these nerve fibers, I'm again repeating, these olfactory nerve ending, also known as the chemoreceptors, present in the mucous membrane of the roof of the nasal cavity. On each side of the nasal septum, nerve fiber passes through the cribriform plate of ethmoid bone, and that from there these passes to the olfactory bulb, and in the olfactory bulb interconnections and synapses basically occur. And from the bulb, bundle of nerve fibers form the olfactory tract, and that olfactory tract passes to the olfactory area in the brain, and in the brain ultimately to the cerebral cortex. So we can say that olfactory physiology, in physiology of smell you must be knowing about the olfactory tract passage. Again repeating it, there are the olfactory receptors present in the mucous membrane of nasal cavity that passes to the olfactory bulb, and from olfactory bulb their interconnections and synapses occur, and from olfactory bulb they passes to the olfactory tract, and from olfactory tract to the olfactory area, and olfactory area is present in the temporal lobe of the cerebrum. So human sense of smell is basically less acute than animals, and in your textbook Ross and Wilson there is a description in which that says that many animals secrete the odorous chemicals known as pheromones. Pheromone is a special type of smell or odor that they secrete, mostly the animals, and all odorous material gives off volatile molecules which are carried into the nose with inhaled air, and that molecules when dissolved in the mucus that stimulates the olfactory chemoreceptor basically. So the sense of smell is basically perceived then. So The important function of the nose is also, we can say that the air entering the nose is basically warmed, and we can say that the smell may affect the appetite as well. And if the smell or the odor is pleasant, the appetite would be increased, and if the smell or odor is unpleasant, the appetite would be decreased. Okay, and when we can say that when there is inflammation of the nasal mucosa in the form of any allergy or in the form of cold, when the person having a seasonal cold or flu or any inflammation of nasal mucosa, in that case it prevents the odorous substances from reaching the olfactory area of nose. So in that case there is the loss of smell, and the loss of smell is known as anosmia. Loss of smell in a person in which there is inflammation of the nasal mucosa, that term is known as anosmia. Okay, the second sense we will discuss about the sense of taste, and the sense of taste is also known as a sense of gustation, and it's closely related to the sense of smell. And before going to the pathway, we will just say that the taste buds contain the sensory receptor that are found in the papillae of the tongue, and mostly in the papillae of the tongue, and basically in the soft palate, pharynx and epiglottis as well. So they consist of the small sensory nerve endings of the three nerves: glossopharyngeal nerve, facial nerve and the vagus nerve. These glossopharyngeal, facial and the vagus nerve are the basically cranial nerves. These 7th, 9th and 10th are cranial nerves involved in the sense of taste. So the sensory receptors are stimulated by the chemical that enter the pores dissolved in the saliva, and from there the nerve impulses are generated and conducted along these three nerves, the three cranial nerves, 7th, 9th and 10th cranial nerve, before synapsing in the medulla and thalamus. Okay, this is the taste pathway. In physiology of this sense of taste, you will be discussing about the taste pathway, and the taste impulses from the interior 2/3 of the tongue passes through the cranial nerve 7th, and the taste impulses from the posterior 1/3 of the tongue and the other posterior part of the mouth are transmitted by the cranial nerve 9th, and the few taste signals from the base of the tongue and other posterior parts are carried by the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. So I'm repeating again. Basically there are some fundamental taste present, that there may be a sweet taste or the sour taste, bitter and the salty, and according to that there is division of that areas in on the tongue, and we can say that interior 2/3 of the tongue, and from that taste impulses from the interior 2/3 of the tongue passes through the facial nerve, and impulses from the posterior 1/3 of the tongue passes through the glossopharyngeal nerve, and taste signal from the base of the tongue and posterior part of the mouth are carried through the vagus nerve, and these nerve impulses are generated and conducted along with these nerves before synapsing in medulla and thalamus. So their final destination is the taste area in the parietal lobe of cerebral cortex, where taste is perceived. Okay, you can see the thalamic nuclei, the portion in the brain where there is the taste area, and taste area is present in the thalamus, and taste area is basically present in the parietal lobe of cerebral cortex, where the taste is perceived. Okay, another important point in which you can see that the sense of taste also triggers the salivation and secretion of gastric juice, and it has also a protective function, in which we can say that when the foul tasting food is eaten, there is a reflex gagging or vomiting may be induced. Gagging is also a process in which we can say the vomit is being induced. Gagging and vomiting is almost a similar terms. So you have studied about the two senses today, and the sense of smell and sense of taste. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you so much.